So students, Unit 5, I am going to give the introduction today. The title of Unit 5 is Security and Ethical Challenges in IT. So this unit is focused on two things. One, security of information. Second is ethical issues in managing information. We shall first talk about security. So what is the need for security in a modern organization? In earlier organizations also, there were many assets. Assets like land, building, trucks, lorries, machinery, material, etc. And there was some information also, but that information was not kept in computers and servers. At that time, the information was kept in registers, files, and papers. So all assets, including the papers which carried information, they were protected similarly by putting locks and keys. But today, the security of information has become very challenging because today's organizations don't keep information just in files and papers. They are keeping in soft copies, in computers, in servers, in emails, in SharePoint servers, and on the cloud. There, the information is widely dispersed in various devices and on various locations in the cloud. To protect that information is very different from protecting the information which is lying in your cupboard in a file. It's very different. Can you see a lot of difference in that? So, that is the reason why today it becomes important for an organization to talk about information security separately and the security of other assets separately. The second reason for this is that today the importance of information for success of an organization is extremely high. Let's take the case of a company like Amazon. It's a multinational global giant of a company. And their success depends upon protecting their servers, their networks, and their storage, because if Amazon is down for 15 minutes, so much business will be lost. The loss will be in millions of dollars. Today's organizations like Flipkart, Amazon, Ola, Zomato, and Myntra and Meesho, they are able to earn money because their information resources are working. Their information is secure. That's why in today's business environment, information assets are more important than other assets. Other assets, yes, they have a lot of value, but information has enormous value. If information is compromised or lost, the loss to the organization is much more. That is the need for information security today. Information security is not just putting locks and keys, it requires good management of data, good management of networks, physical assets related to information technology, and the protocols and the apps which we are using in our business. So, that being the case, this becomes a very important topic for modern organizations. Information suffers from various kinds of threats. Threat is a security risk, and threat exploits basically the weakness of the system, vulnerability of the system. That is exploited by the criminals, by the hackers, and then they are able to damage or destroy or modify or manipulate our information. So, wherever there is a security risk, understand that security risk is not due to the intelligence of a hacker. The security risk is due to a threat which arises out of the vulnerability in our system. Our system is weak. We have to strengthen our information system security continuously. Why continuously? Because the criminals, the cyber criminals, the hackers, the malware developers, they are also constantly learning. They are constantly learning new techniques, new methods. So, since they are constantly learning and evolving and developing, if we have to survive in this environment, we have to constantly upgrade our security practices. Some operating systems are more vulnerable. Some other operating systems can be less vulnerable also. But all operating systems, all security systems will always have some vulnerabilities, some bugs will be there which can be identified remotely and exploited. So, we have to constantly be on the lookout that since the cyber criminals, they are constantly becoming smarter, we have to always keep one step ahead of them. It's not enough that you walk, you have to run. It is not enough that you run, you have to run faster than others. You have to be more proactive. You have to develop your security faster than they can develop their techniques. That is what is required in modern organizations. There are various kinds of threats which we can come across. The broad general name for all these threats is malicious software. Malicious software, malicious means something which is harmful. What is the antonym of malicious? Benign. B-E-N-I-G-N. Benign means kind, not harmful. But the antonym of benign is malicious. All softwares are not malicious. For example, Adobe Acrobat Reader, nobody can say it is malicious. It is very nice. We can use it for our office work. Microsoft Office, nobody says it is malicious. That is also a software, but not malicious. Malicious softwares are those which harm our information assets. They can be directed at damaging our data or causing monetary loss to our organization. So, one of the most common kinds of malicious software is a virus. Virus is itself a harmful computer program, and it has got some built-in capabilities that it can travel from one system to another automatically, and then when it reaches there, it can make copies of itself and it can modify the code in the host computer system. By doing that, it can modify the files, modify the data, delete files, or make harmful communications to external servers to leak our information to others. So, this is one kind of threat like this. There are several kinds of threats which we will be talking about. Before we do that, let's look at 5 important characteristics of information. When I say information, here I am talking about information which is belonging to an organization. An organization's information will have these 5 important characteristics. The first is confidentiality. What is the meaning of confidentiality? Confidentiality doesn't mean that it will not be known to anybody. Well, an information which is not known to anybody at all is of no use also. Nobody can use it. So, then what is the meaning of confidentiality? The correct meaning of confidentiality is that to the person who officially needs that information, the information should be available. But for everyone else, it should be confidential. See the difference? The difference is, for the person who needs it for his day-to-day official work, the information is visible. But for all others, inside my organization as well as outside my organization, the information should not be visible. Example, I have a stores manager in my company. The stores manager should be able to see what are the items stocked in my store, what is the quantity level of each, and what is the price of each, what were the issues in the last month, what are the receipts in the last month. He should be able to see all that. But is this information needed by, say, an HR person? No. HR person is not at all concerned with stock movements in my company. He is concerned with hiring employees, training them, so on. So, for my stores manager, the data in the warehouse module shall be visible. But for anyone else in my company as well as outside my company, it shall not be visible. That is the meaning of confidentiality. Second point is availability. Every coin has two sides, head and tail. If we say confidentiality is head, availability is the tail. Availability means to the person who needs that information, it must be available every time, correct. True information must be available. So, who are the people who can need my information? They can be people inside my company. They can also be people outside my company. Yeah, that can also happen. For example, coming to the same example of stock in my store. My store's manager should be able to see that. But so also, my supplier who is supposed to replenish my stock, he also must be able to see that. He's not a part of my company. He's not my employee. But the information must be made visible to him also on an extranet. That is the meaning of confidentiality. Availability. So confidentiality is one side of the coin, which says to nobody else it should be visible. Availability is the other side of the coin. To the concerned person, it shall be available all the time, whenever he needs, without any problem. The third characteristic of information is integrity. Integrity means maintaining the correctness or accuracy of the information. If information is not accurate, it is as good as not available. And information about the accuracy of which you are doubtful, it is of no use. You can't rely on that. You can't take any decision on that. So, if availability is one angle, an equally important angle is integrity. Either during storage or during transit from one system to another, there should be no possibility of information getting distorted, manipulated. Now, how this happens is, let me give you an example. I send you an email, and to that email I have attached a file. It's a Word file. I send the Word file, and you have received it, you have downloaded it, you open it. You are not very happy with the contents of that file because contents are not favorable to you. Maybe it shows some information which you don't like or which you don't like others to know. So what is the first thing that you will do now? It's a Word file, I can edit it. So I wrote, your performance is not satisfactory. You will delete the word not, and you will save the file. And then you can say, this is what the faculty sent me, my performance is satisfactory. Now if you do that, what is happening? The integrity of the information is lost. How do we make sure that you should not be able to modify the file? Because as it is, every file can be modified. Every file can be modified. I can modify a Word file, Excel file, a PowerPoint presentation can be modified, even an image can be modified. Photo editor is there. Even a video can be modified. Video editor is there. In video, I can trim the video, I can split the video, I can add a picture, I can remove a picture or an image by trimming, and I can modify the audio also by using Windows Movie Maker. So all data which is in the soft form, that can always be modified. So what is the method for ensuring the integrity of the information? The integrity can be ensured only by one method. Till now there is no other method. Only one method is there, and that method is digital signature. digital ID. So now I'll explain to you how we can use that. I have sent you an attachment in email, but before sending it, I have digitally signed it. Digitally signed means I have first taken my digital signature, maybe from an IC. I paid a little money. They created a digital signature for me that was given to me. Using that digital signature, I digitally signed that file. Then I attach it to my email and you receive it. Now, when you receive it, you have opened the file. You will be able to open it. There is no problem. You try to modify the file. I wrote your performance is not satisfactory. You selected the word not and deleted it, and you saved the file. Now, if you open the file again, you will find a new thing. The new thing will be the digital signature which was there in the original file will no longer be there. That's how the digital signature works. As soon as any modification is done, a word is inserted, a word is deleted, font is changed, space is added, whatever you do, any change, small or big, removes the digital signature first. With that, it becomes very clear that the file which you are showing is not original. This is very similar to taking Xerox copies. So I have an original paper, I can take a Xerox copy of that. So Xerox copy looks just like the original, but you can't find any difference. To see the difference correctly, the original is to be signed. So when you take a Xerox of that, signature will not come exactly similarly. If original signature is in black ink, or say blue ink or red ink, Xerox copy will not show exactly the same color. Even a color Xerox will not be able to show exactly the same color. So, just as a signature, a pen signature, a handwritten signature ensures the integrity of data on paper, similarly, digital signature ensures the integrity of data in soft copies. So, digital signature is the mechanism. Digital signature does not encrypt the file, as I explained in my example just now. Even if the file is digitally signed, you can still open it and read the contents. No problem in that. It doesn't encrypt the file. How does it work then? What it does is, the mechanism is like this. Understand the mechanism. For the contents of the file, it uses an algorithm to calculate a code which is called a hash code. The hash code is generally a small code. It could be 256 bits, 512 bits, that's all. Not very much bigger than that. Hash is calculated. That hash is encrypted and kept in the same file. Hash is calculated, encrypted, kept in the same file along with the digital signature. When you modify the file, the processor at that end once again calculates the hash. Since the content is modified, the hash doesn't tally with the original hash. Once it doesn't tally with the original hash, the software concludes that this is not the correct digital signature. Digital signature is eliminated. So, two things you have to learn from this. The basic technology behind digital signature is encryption. encryption of the hash. Wherever there is encryption, there has to be decryption also. Encryption without decryption or decryption without encryption does not serve any purpose. They have to both be together. So basic technology for digital signatures is encryption, but not file encryption. It is encryption of the hash. That is much simpler. As I told you, hash is a very small code. Generally it is 256 bits. It could be 512 in some cases. So, what we need for this is an algorithm for calculating the hash. And one such algorithm is SHA. Can you see it here? SHA. This one. SHA full form is Secure Hash Algorithm. Secure Hash Algorithm. And the digital signature, which uses this secure hash algorithm, that is called RSA digital signature. Can you read on the screen? RSA digital signature. So SHA full form you have noted, secure hash algorithm. RSA full form is Rivest, Shamir, Adelman. They are the three people. They are the three persons who gave us this kind of digital signature. This has got another name also. It is called public key infrastructure. Why it is called public key infrastructure? Because while sending the file, while sending the digital signature, we encrypt it with the private key of the sender. It is decrypted by the public key of the sender, and that's how it is compared with the original hash. So integrity of data, integrity of information is maintained by using digital signatures. Activities like online procurement, electronic procurement, internet commerce, they cannot function without digital signature. Secure websites like Gmail or Hotmail, they cannot function without digital signature. When you connect to the Gmail server, what happens? You are connecting from a device which is sending data to the Gmail server located somewhere in the world. When this device is sending your password, if password is not encrypted, anybody will be able to know your password very easily. So a secure website like Gmail or Hotmail uses encryption, 128-bit encryption, and with that the password can be securely transmitted to the server, it can be verified, and if found to be correct, you can be given an OTP to proceed further. So we can say this works on secure socket authentication, SSA. Okay? So this is how integrity of data is to be maintained. The fourth important characteristic are the fourth important characteristic is authentication. Now, what does authentication means? Authentication means that we should be sure that the information which we are receiving from source ABC is really from the source ABC. Coming back to the example of, say, Amazon. On Amazon, you log in and you order some product. You are giving a delivery address and you are saying, I promise to pay. Pay later scheme is already there. Pay later option is there in Amazon. So you have placed an order and you said, I will pay later. Nice. But then, how does Amazon make sure that you are really the person who has sent that information? This needs authentication. Authentication can proceed only after one more thing is done. And that thing is authorization. Authentication is actually the second step. The first step is authorization. So when you register for the first time, when you sign up at any site for the first time, you get a username. This username you cannot modify easily, or you can't modify too many times. For that username, you have to create a password which you can modify from time to time, or you can use two-factor authentication over that, the second factor authentication, which could be an OTP to your mobile phone, OTP to your email ID, or you could use biometric authentication. For example, one biometric authentication is the fingerprint. That is much more secure than password. Face recognition is another method of authentication, and retina recognition, retina pattern recognition is another method of authentication. The Commissioner of Collegiate Education has given a circular that all universities in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana shall implement biometric authentication for faculty and students. So it is applicable to you also. The day that comes, the day it is implemented, there will be fingerprint scanners at the ground floor. When you enter the college, you will have to put your finger and enter your student ID, and that will be verified with your biometric data in Aadhaar server. There all your fingerprints are there. You can put any of the 10 fingers. It will be read, and then it will be assumed by the university that yes, you are present on that day. Till now, we are giving you attendance very liberally. We are saying everybody present, everybody present. This will not work, because you will have to put your finger on the scanner, and that only will be taken as your true attendance. So any kind of biometric authentication, fingerprint, retina scan, or facial recognition can be used for authentication. Now, if you are an intelligent person, you will be getting one doubt in your mind. If you have not got the doubt, now I am creating that doubt. All these things, retina scan, fingerprint scan, and facial recognition, will work only for a living person. No? For a dead person, they don't work. For a dead person, these change very rapidly. Fingerprint may change maybe in 1 hour, the finger will get swollen, or retina scan will change much faster than that. Face also undergoes a change. So how do I authenticate that a transaction was done by a person who has died? A dead person's authentication. Is there any biometric method for that also? Yes, fortunately there is. There is. And that is called DNA fingerprinting. DNA is a code in your biology. So from any part of your body, blood, saliva from the mouth, tears from your eyes, a part of the skin, or hair, they can be used for DNA fingerprinting. Let us say some crime has been committed. At the scene of the crime, I find the hair of the criminal has fallen. With that hair, we can do DNA fingerprinting and identify the person. Why I told you that? Well, DNA fingerprinting is not a part of your syllabus. I mentioned it because among the biometric techniques, the most powerful and the one which works even after the death of the person is DNA fingerprinting. So for solving all the criminal cases and all that, DNA fingerprinting is the one which is used. So the fifth characteristic of information is non-repudiation. Non-repudiation is the reverse part of authentication. Authentication means I am sure at the server that the transaction is by so and so user. Non-repudiation is the user shall not be able to deny his or her role in that transaction. So, how does this work? Well, this works again with the same two things. One is authentication and second is digital signatures. So if we are able to authenticate the user properly in the beginning, and if the digital signature is also there, then non-repudiation ensures that nobody can deny the data. Example of this could be like this. You have a bank account, and from your bank account you transferred a sum of 1 lakh rupees to my account. You are most welcome to do that anytime, every time. So when you do that, the money is debited to your account and credited to my account, and then suppose later you say, no, I never did this transaction, that will be repudiation. But with authentication and with digital signature, we are able to ensure that there will be non-repudiation. So this topic is not yet over. I have to talk to you many more things about information security. It will continue in the next class.